Hello, welcome to this history project. Here with myself, Daniela Valdez Reese, Paulina Fonseca Vázquez, Ursula Tejeda, and Yesenia Marisol Rivera. Please enjoy our project. This is about our culture and fashion. Next up, fashion at Egypt. The jewelry was mostly important. Perfumes and oils help us understand their everyday life in this antique colony. The kids used sandals and very long strips. Because of its hot climate, they wore only light clothing. Most of the people went barefoot most of the time, but they also wore sandals. Both men and women used makeup. Jewelry and types of clothes depended on the status. Clothes based on two elements the wrapped kilt on men, the seaweed calasaris of women. Textiles were made of lining, a light, airy fabric suitable in hot and humid climates. Prestigious leopard skins were reserved for priests and worn during religious festivals. The style of dresses worn by men became increasingly stubborn. Proper male clothing came to associate more with clean, polished, and clothing rather than fancy ornament. The woman's style revealed more the female figure. The woman shifted the wearing large dresses with huge sleeves and skirts and heavy ornaments. Women's fashion changed again to incorporate slimmer sleeves. Women's waists were pinched tighter and tighter in variety, constructed coarse. Next up, fashion in India. The working clothes by men changed in appearance between the late 18th and the 19th century. Stockings, breeches, white cut shirts, waistcoat, jacket, and hat were the common attire at the turn of the 19th century. The custom style associated in the early 19th century was an attempt to recapture classic simplicity. Women wore thin muslin dresses with high waist, low round neck, and puffed short sleeves. Men wore a short waisted cutaway coat with pails, a high collar, and large staples and military boots. Plain colored wools became predominant. The whole time, the male appearance was strictly military. Next up, culture in Egypt during the British occupancy. The history of Egypt under the British lasts from 1882, when it was occupied by the British forces during the Anglo-Egyptian War, until 1956, when the last British forces withdrew in accordance with the Anglo-Egyptian Agreement, 1954. After the Suez Crisis, the first period of British rule is often called the Veil Protective. During this time, the Kingdom of Egypt remained an autonomous province of the Ottoman Empire, and the British occupancy had no legal basis but constituted a de facto protective over this country. This state of affairs lasted until the Ottoman Empire during the First World War on the side of the Central Powers in November 1914, and Britain declared a protectorate over Egypt. The ruling caliphate was deposed and his successor, Hassan Kamel, compelled to declare himself Sultan of Egypt, independent of Ottomans in December 1914. Next up, everyday life in India during the British occupancy. Most of the Indians kept their own culture and weren't influenced by the British people, who wanted to change their minds, but some were forced to change their beliefs because of violence. Despite their educations, Indians were more considered equals to British, and British showed disrespect for Indians' cultured heritage. Most people worked at British factories, farmings, or as servants for the British people. The official was the Sahib master. The official's wife was the Mensabih, or Madame Sahib. The Mensabih was expected to oversee the running of the household on a daily basis. At the beginning of each day, she assigned duties to all servants. In the evening, she was expected to entertain. Supper parties with other British families were the usual form of entertainment. The Sahib was often always on the official business. All household servants wore uniforms, usually white with bands on their turbans, and went barefoot on the house. British encouraged many farmers to switch from growing foods to growing cotton. This caused the food supplies weren't enough for a growing population between 18th and 19th century. 30 million Indians died of starvation. Well, thank you for listening to us. Have a very, very nice day. Thank you. gracias, danke, arigato, in any other language you can think of. Please check out the other projects that we have made. Also notice there's lots of things to do in this World Fair. Thank you again. Have a nice day.